All right, we're going to jump to this first story, and it's from the New York Times, but we will be leading with a quote from Dan Price, posting on LinkedIn. He said, "In the unlikely event that you are falsely accused, remember that it will be much easier for you to overcome false allegations than it will be for actual victims to overcome the trauma of harassment or assault."
Go on.
That being said, Dan, I suppose I'm not supposed to care at all that you are claiming these are false allegations, but these are some crazy allegations. So take a look at the headline. Social media was a CEO's bullhorn and how he lured women.
Oh my.
This is what you get when you pander to woke people. Or maybe the people who pander to these woke people are just predators. Dan Price was applauded for paying a minimum salary of $70,000 at his Seattle company and criticizing corporate greed. The adulation helped to hide and enable his behavior. I'm just going to give you the gist of it. Yo, this is crazy. Like, they talk about how he's on the Daily Show and they did magazines with him. But apparently he's been accused, I guess, of like drugging a woman. Look at this. Raping and drugging a victim. On Monday, police in Palm Springs, California said they had referred Miss Margis's case to local prosecutors recommending a charge of rape of a drugged victim.
Oh my.
Prosecutors in Seattle earlier this year charged with Price with assault in another incident. Apparently he tried to kiss a woman, and then when she refused, he choked her. So questions. Is this retaliation from the woke because you can never trust them? Or is it that if someone is willing to pander and lie to gain power, they're probably willing to do that for sex?
Yeah, and there's sort of a default, like the fakeness of nice. Like, I actually distinguish between being nice and being kind, right? Like, kindness is something that comes from a position of like strength and normalcy. Nice, whenever you talk about nice guys, you always know that there's like an element of like deception,
nefariousness,
right? Like, it's sort of like, I think that people think like they put coins in the nice. It's like a vending machine, right? They put coins in the nice button, and then eventually they get to the girl they want.
Like, a nice guy won't step on someone's toes. A kind guy might step on your toes just to let you know your toes are in the wrong spot.
Yeah, or like, well, kind of guy just does it from a position of strength, right? Like they have the ability to do. They have powers. So, but they're being kind and not using it that way. Whereas nice is like
a costume.
They're trying to attract women by being like fake, and they're like they think
it's a game.
Yeah, it's.
I knew a guy. Me and this other guy, we were hanging out. Mm-hmm. My one friend is like, a Rico Suave type who's going to bars and picking up chicks and like very proud of himself. And this other guy was having trouble. So I'm sitting there and I'm kind of like passively listening. Mm-hmm. And we'll call him Guy A because I don't want to call anybody's personal lives out. But Guy A is talking about how he doesn't understand why he's always in the friend zone. He goes on to, Guy B, who's this Suave dude, is like, tell me what you do when you go on a date. And he explained how he's like, I always treat them like royalty, like queens. I ask them whatever they want, you can have. And then I'm listening to this and I was just like, dude, you think that comes off as sincere and nice? Like, you're treating the person like they're not really there with you. You're acting like they're a piece of plastic and that you're going to feed the machine quarters hoping that sex comes out. I was like, that's not that's not nice. That's creepy.
Yeah, and it also breeds resentment, right? Like, then they feel because they have put in the nice coins and they don't get what they're expecting, they get super resentful and angry about it.
It's like the kind of guy who there's like a woman and she's got spinach in her teeth and he's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Exactly what I was thinking about.
Yep.
The hottest girl in the world. If she got spinach in her teeth, tell her. She wants to know this so she can take it out.
Right.
But that's anybody too. Like, nice and kind. It's like, if someone had gunk in their teeth, would you tell them? I do.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, you got a thing in your teeth.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, thanks.
They'll be more mad at you if you didn't tell them.
Right.
And then they find out, they're like, why didn't you tell me?
Because I didn't want to put you on the spot. I don't want to.
No.
So this guy, Dan Price, I really want to talk about his business because so much of what we see coming from this really grinds my gears, the idea of left versus right. If you are a sincere person who asks a question, you're right wing. I'll give you an example, right? Seamus, this is one of Seamus's jokes. He says, the left will come out and be like, we want good thing. We want good thing. And then a conservative will go, okay, how do we pay for a good thing? You want bad thing. You want bad thing. And that's like it's like you're right wing for simply being like. So we get this story of this guy, Dan Price. He raises everybody's salary. Well, I happen to run a company and I understand how taxes work. So my first question here, he lowers his salary from like $1 million or something to 70,000. And for me, alarm bells went off. I was like, oh, bro's trying to save himself some money. Because it's when you take profit versus like compensation. They're taxed differently. And so, or this is at least how two different accounting companies I've gone with have explained it to me. So, maybe they're not correct, but this is my understanding, is that passive profit is not taxed the same way as employment income or direct compensation. So when I see this, I'm like, if the dude lowers his salary, he's going to save a lot of money in taxes.
Right.
Like,
that's assuming if he owns or has a major stake in the company that he's running. Right.
And I'm pretty sure this dude
that's the key
does.
distinction.
Yeah, he does.
Right.
Yeah, he gets profit. So at the end of the year, if you're only paying yourself $70K, like Bezos does this. Bezos takes an $87,000 a year salary and then gets bonuses and then justify to the IRS why your salary is so low. But if you're going to get audited anyway. So what I was told by two different accounting companies was, if you're a CEO of a company with, like an 8-figure revenue, and then you pay yourself something like $70K, you're going to get audited in 2 seconds, because they're like, that's bull. That's bull. You're trying to not pay your employment taxes. So when I saw this, I was like, well, how would you get around that? It's ideological. Now, if they come to you and be like, hey, man, that's not it at all. I believe in fair wages for all people, and I shouldn't be making that much money in a salary. But in profit's a different question.
Right.
So I don't know how much money he actually saved by doing it. He did raise the salaries of everybody in his company, became a big star over it. Surprise, surprise, the dude's being accused. Again, I think there's a strong possibility it's false accusation. I'm not going to assume these are real claims just because the guy happens to be on the left.
Yeah, all the raises he made kind of goes back to what Will was saying about kind versus nice, because the raises could have just been the veneer of kindness,
right,
but it's really just a nefarious niceness.
Right.
And now it's blowing up in his face.
I feel like that's so much of what the left is. I mean, I think this is what most people kind of feel, that it's performative, grifting, Maybe he did something good. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
But what was like, and I often say this about Trump too, is the reasoning behind it that important if they're actively doing something good? Because we have to speculate as to his reasoning, but I think it's great that he's paying his staff more money.
Definitely.
I got an article from GeekWire about this story. He made, according to whatever the documents, that he made $950,000 in 2010, 900,000 in 2011. But then when he went on TV, he told him he made 50,000 in 2011 when he actually had made 900,000. This was on January, and then this was with CNBC. Kelly Evans is when he told her, I made probably 50,000. Then he later came out and was like, oh, I misspoke. So I don't know if this guy's just full of it.
He's just a creep. He's a classic male feminist, right? Like literally archetypal male feminist, using like woke politics and like BS because he thinks that's what women want to hear. And then when they say no, all of a sudden the fangs come out.
Dude, if he actually made 900,000 and told someone that he made 50,000, that's insanity.
He's a psychotic person.
Is he misleading? He's like, my salary was only, but he knows in the back of his mind he made 900,000 in profit. It's really disturbing that he made that. And he was like, let this be the last lie I ever tell. Or
apparently
the last mistake I ever make.
Apparently there were big problems when he did this too. So like what happened was, these are just stories that I heard. There were some employees that were making $70K a year because they were like an accounts manager. And then there were some people who were in the mailroom who were getting hourly pay. All of a sudden, these mailroom people got bumped up to the same salary as an accounts manager who saw no raise. And then they were just like, I've been here for how long? And you gave them a $50,000 a year raise and I got nothing? And so I read, it's been a long time, I could be wrong, but a bunch of people resigned saying like, it's deeply offensive that we would not receive more compensation. But like the idea of a minimum wage meant they got nothing. And the people of lower skill and lower time at the company, lower seniority, got massive, like 200 or 300% raises.
Yeah, I would actually be furious, right? Like it's just like a complete stunt if you're one of those people making like 70, 80K for a job that requires a college degree and you have debts and things like that, and then he like bumps up like the intern or whatever, or the entry level job up to 70, and you're like, where's my raise?
Yeah,
the argument was supposed to be that's like, you shouldn't be mad that someone else is making more money. That's what the left was saying. Like, what is it? It's not affecting you at all. And it's like, you got to understand, man, when your company takes money from the budget and gives a raise to everyone but you, that is like getting punched in the gut. That's crazy. And so the idea, but it's raised to a minimum. It's like, yeah, but like to hear that a coworker got a 500 or 300% raise and you got a 0 It's not about 70K. It's not about a minimum. It's about you working hard and hoping to make more money to live a better life. And he's not doing that for you. But everybody else, you are now, it's almost like they got pushed to the minimum. So people resigned, apparently. But hey, look, man, I don't care how he runs his business. He can do whatever he wants. Congratulations, he found a way to get a bunch of attention, make a bunch of money.
Yeah, don't be a predator, though. That seems...
you know what I mean?
It's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't
Definitely
be...
I object first and foremost to the predation.
Yes.
Right? It's like that. Right? Like it's like
Here,
that,
here.
It's like that Norm Macdonald joke. It's like, the worst thing about Bill Cosby... Somebody's like saying the worst thing about Bill Cosby is the hypocrisy. And he's like, no, I thought the worst thing about Bill Cosby was, the crimes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing, man. So, when I look at there's a guy in here, 7 years running the marketing company as
That's
as
a man?
company. Well, this guy, wait, I don't know. They're both dudes.
Okay.
It's a new man.
Soft person.
Yeah, so like when I see people like Dan Price, I'm actually kind of like, okay, do your thing, man. Like, I'm not going to complain about a guy, how he runs his business. If he's getting attention for raising salaries, it's like, whatever, dude. I don't trust it, but I'm not here to rag on that. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to do their business that way, it's just far be it from me, but surprise, surprise, you know what I mean? Like raping a drugged victim is a crazy thing to be accused of.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this too: innocent until proven guilty.
Always.
Because I think it could be false. I mean, look, you're a powerful white man, and you enter the woke fray to exploit it. I wonder if some of this stuff is they know he's grifting off them, so they destroy him. Like not just his story, but other stories where they're like. As a possibility. It also may just be, dude, imagine being like made of cheese and then deciding to walk into a room full of mice. You know what I mean? Like imagine being a banana and walking to a monkey sanctuary.
Look, I'm just going to go with his advice. I don't want to inflict trauma on his victims. So I'm just gonna believe his accuser and leave it at that.
That's such a sense of hubris to be like, I got this. I'll be fine. I'm a white guy, but I got this in the bag.
As long as I pander to them, I'll be safe here.
Yeah.
They should know though that so many heroes that they prop up, they eventually, it's like the new hero's journey. They end up falling. They end up devouring themselves in the end, whether they did it or not. It's like Louis C.K. was one of them, and a lot of people, whether it was true or not.
I can't. It's crazy. So we use Parallel Economy for Timcast. And this is co-founded by Dan Bongino. It's censorship resistant. Why would I use a company that hates me? So like you're the CEO of this company and you're like, I know. Let's pander to the people who explicitly hate me based on my race and my gender. And that's a good business move. That seems like really dumb.
It seems, very fragile.
Based in fear.
Yeah.
It's a
I think.
desperation tactic if you were to do something like that. That'd be like using your slave owners' weapons to break out of slavery or something.
Right.
I don't know, man.
But they only do that because that's their only option. If you have another option, you use the company that you...
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.